Today, I'm breaking down the top 5 triceps movements that have been super beneficial for my arm growth. On top of my personal preferences, to help rank these exercises, I'm also taking into consideration the specific muscles they target, how much they activate and stimulate the triceps, and finally, if they're suitable for progressive overload. If you don't know me, my name is Tom. I've been training for around 3 years naturally, and with the help of the exercises I'm going to mention in this video, I've taken my arm growth from this to this. I hope this video helps you get those extra gains you've been chasing. Let's get into it. The dumbbell overhead extension comes in at number 5 because it's one of the simplest ways to put the long head of your triceps under a deep stretch. Any movement where your arms are raised above your head puts the long head in a lengthened position, which is where it can generate the most tension and contribute the most to overall tricep mass. This is the biggest reason overhead dumbbell work shows up consistently in hypertrophy-focused programs. And for most people, dumbbells make this variation accessible, joint-friendly, and easy to set up whether you're training at home or in a commercial gym. When I'm performing these, I like to think about keeping my elbows tight and slightly angled in front of me, not flared out to the sides. This helps me keep the tension locked onto my triceps instead of shifting onto my shoulders. A stable core is also key here because once the weight gets heavy, you'll naturally want to arch your back. Staying strict will keep the long head fully loaded from the bottom stretch all the way up to the top. In 4th place are easy bar pushdowns, an exercise that gives you incredibly clean, consistent tension throughout the entire range of motion. Because your elbows stay fixed at your sides and you're working with your shoulder extension locked in, this movement places more of the load on the lateral and medial heads of the triceps. Jeff Nippard often highlights cable-based movements for their ability to maintain resistance throughout the full rep, which is exactly what makes pushdowns so good for progressive overload and strict technique work. To get the most out of these, I like keeping my shoulders down and back, chest slightly lifted, and really focus on driving my hands down and finishing each rep with a fully contracted lockout. To maximize the tension on your triceps for this exercise, you can use a little bit of movement, but try and limit it. And your eccentric needs to be pretty slow. It's purely elbow extension, which is exactly what you want for biasing the lateral head. Single arm pushdowns take the 3rd spot because they allow you to isolate each triceps individually and match the strength curve perfectly on both sides. This variation gives you more freedom in your wrist and elbow position, making it much easier to keep constant tension on the medial and the lateral heads. It's one of those exercises that exposes imbalances immediately, which is one of the reasons lifters often recommend unilateral movements for more complete development. For technique, I like to step slightly back from the cable and keep my elbow pinned to my side. From there, I drive the handle straight down while keeping a neutral wrist to avoid any unnecessary shoulder involvement. The beauty of this movement is how easy it is to slow down the eccentric and keep the contraction tight without compensations. It also scales extremely well. Microplates or cable weight pins give you very precise progressive overload. Skull crushers come in at number 2 because they allow you to overload the long head in a stretched position without needing heavy overhead work. When the arms are angled back behind the head on your bench, you put the long head on stretch. This gives you a form of lengthened overload, which is often referred to as one of the most hypertrophy-friendly stimuli. For technique, the biggest cue is keeping the elbows pointed mostly upwards, not flared out. I like to bring the bar behind my head instead of straight toward the forehead. This protects the elbows and increases the stretch on the long head. Slow negatives, a soft lockout, and choosing a weight you can control for 8 to 12 quality reps is ideal here. Done right, skull crushers load the triceps in a way that dumbbells and cables just can't replicate. At number 1 is the overhead triceps extension, the single best triceps movement in this list for overall growth potential. The reason it ranks the highest is because it places the long head under the most consistent stretch and tension. The long head is the largest portion of the tricep, and it's the only head that crosses the shoulder joint. When your arms are elevated, you're lengthening the long head maximally, allowing it to produce high force at long muscle lengths, something research highlights as one of the strongest drivers of hypertrophy. Using a cable or rope attachment keeps the tension smooth throughout the entire rep, especially in the bottom stretch where the long head works the hardest. Technique-wise, I like positioning my feet shoulder width apart, leaning slightly forward and keeping the elbows locked in front of me so the stretch stays on the triceps instead of the shoulders. The key is letting the weight pull you into a deep stretch before driving through a strong, controlled extension. So, those are my top 5 triceps movements, ranked based on how well they target each head of the triceps. how effectively they can be overloaded, and how consistently they've supported my own arm growth. You don't need to run all 5 of these every single session. Even choosing 2 or 3 of these and performing them with good technique, enough volume, and steady progression will take you a long way. The triceps make up a huge portion of your arm size, so giving them the right exercises and the right intent can make a big difference over time. I hope this breakdown makes your training a little clearer and helps you build the arms you're working for. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.